Hello friends! Welcome back to Science with me. My name is Dr. Erica and I am so excited that you are joining us today as we explore the world of amazing science. Just a reminder, make sure you click subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, and share our projects with all of your friends because the more the merrier. I also am super excited that we are in Indiana Jones week right now. We are going to do the Staff of Ra today as we learn about how sundials could be used in puzzle solving, which I think will be a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you guys what you need to get ready for the day, and if you don't have it, you can run and go grab it. Otherwise, we can just hang tight for a second. So we are using a marble, or maybe you have another really cool special gem that you want to use as the headpiece of the Staff of Ra. So something that's like beautiful and you love. Maybe you go back and you put some artwork around this, because what we are going to make today is gonna need your personal touch, all right? And then you need some sort of a stick. So a stick, I have a little wooden dowel. A popsicle stick would work because we're gonna glue it on top for that. I also have a little push pin so that I can poke a hole in a paper plate. I have a pencil to make that hole bigger, and then I have my paper plate. And I have my trusty old glue gun, my favorite thing ever. If you don't have a glue gun yet, you should totally get one of the low temperature glue guns. They are the best thing ever. All right.
We have exciting stuff.
We have some science stuff.
We have Venetia here.
Yay! Hello, Venetia. I'm so excited.
Naomi and Rohan and Lorraine.
Oh my goodness. And the rain?
Lorraine.
Lorraine. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys are all joining us today. Yay. And a reminder to you guys, if you have things that you want to study and units you want to do, make sure to email me at drerica@rosieresearch.com, because we are taking your guys' thoughts. That's how we're doing our programming. So somebody said, hey, I really want to learn about chemicals and chemistry, and we're going to do it. We're going to do 2 weeks of some really cool chemistry things. I had a breakthrough moment yesterday. It was like the chocolate chip cookie accident of science. It was amazing. So we are going to do those things. And also, not next week, because next week is also Indiana Jones, but the last 2 weeks of September, we're going to do a weather unit. And if you have really curious questions about the weather, please, by all means, feel free to email your questions, because we have some kids at Penn State University who are waiting to give us some short video clip answers to your questions. And also, if they can't answer it, we can ask the National Weather Center when we go on our field trip there. All right, so let's get started about the Staff of Ra. So in Indiana Jones, he is searching for the Ark. And the Ark is a lost religious relic. I believe it's a Christian relic because it holds the 10 Commandments. And it's supposed to be very powerful. It has supernatural powers. And I feel like it almost creates like electricity and power with it. Sorry, my friends. We have our little people in school right now too. So he uses it to discover the place of the Ark. So it's very interesting because the way he does it in the movie, we have a picture. Evan's going to put that picture up, and I'll wait until we get that up for you guys to look at when he's using the Staff of Ra. That's pretty cool. All right, so we see Indiana Jones. He's holding the Staff of Ra, and you see this ray of sunlight that is going through the Staff of Ra, and it's illuminating a part of a town. So it's like a little map. And in fact, the Staff of Ra is telling Indy where the Ark is hidden. It was like their super secret map. And in the movie, there's actually some bad guys who are following Indiana Jones, and they also try to recreate the Staff of Ra. So they try to remake a model of it, because the Staff of Ra had instructions on the little headpiece, which is our jeweled marble piece. Had instructions, so they recreated it, but interestingly, they didn't see the backside of the instructions, so they made their staff too tall, and their shadow was a little bit too long. They were digging in the wrong spot all along. So Indiana Jones was able to actually recreate the right Staff of Ra and find where the Ark was, which is pretty cool. So that's what we're going to make today, and it's kind of like an awesome sundial, all right? And there are all sorts of different sundials all around. I think we might have a picture of some collages of sundials, And Evan will put those up for you guys. It sounds like they're up. These are all different sundials, and sundials are a way to tell time using the sun, because way long time ago, people did not have the things like watches or gears or batteries. So they wouldn't be able to tell time by the sun the normal ways that we tell it. There's no digital clocks, there's no watch clocks. But if you look at this picture, there are some that are like Stonehenge. There's these big stones that are casting shadows. Some are curved dishes. There are all different types of really cool sundials in this world. And so that is just a few of them. And what we're making today, you guys can either choose if you want it to be a sundial, and you can track, well, I'll show you how to track the time, or you guys can choose if you want it to be a way to hide a code, hide a location, and we can put a map so that you could tell somebody, come at 2 o'clock and see where I hid my treasure, which is really kind of a cool idea too. All right, so making our staff of Ra is pretty straightforward. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna poke a hole with our push pin into the paper plate. I have 2 here, I don't think I need 2. You don't have to center it, so it doesn't matter if it's perfectly centered. Off center could make a really cool piece of art. Perfectly centered could make a really cool piece of art. I just want you to know it doesn't matter. If it's not perfect, it's totally okay. So I'm just gonna poke my hole with my little push pin right here. Whoops, dropped that, but I can grab that later. I have a teeny tiny hole right here. And that teeny tiny hole I need to make a little bit bigger. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pencil and I can put it through the hole, and I can sort of twist my pencil as I go, and it will widen that hole up for me. And I can make it wide enough to fit my little wooden dowel, which is kind of perfect. And you'll notice I'm sort of treating the bottom of the paper plate as the top of my project. And the reason I'm doing that is when we go to glue this down, it makes it so that I'm not gluing just straight to the bottom and there's no support. The paper plate, since it's curved, is actually going to be up here, so it gives it a little extra fun support. All right, so now we're going to pick our whatever gem you want as your headpiece for the Staff of Ra, and we will glue it onto the staff.
And what are you using to glue it?
I'm using hot glue. If you're using a regular glue, you might be able to get it sort of set up and it can dry over the next hour or so. But hot glue is my favorite thing ever because it dries so quickly. So kids can really build whatever they want. They can really get it done. They can be very independent about it. And they don't have to sit there and like wait for 20 minutes after every little piece they build. And if you're worried about burns, I always buy for my classes these like little low temp glue guns. They still burn, especially if I were to like put the metal on my skin. But some glue guns, when the glue comes out, it's like boiling hot. You can see pretty much like steam coming off the glue. It's really, really hot. These ones, it's not quite as hot, which is really nice. Like my glue is already dry for me. I strongly suggest grabbing something like that for yourself. And then once we do that, we are going to plop it in. I'm going to stand it straight up, and I'm just going to glue around the bottom here. All right, and because my paper plate is upside down, it's not flat on the table, and so sort of acting to hold up the wooden dowel, my staff, it's going to hold it up a little bit more straight. It's going to make it a little easier. I'm going to wait for this to dry, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'll glue on the inside too to make it really strong and sturdy. And in the meantime, you want to be thinking, ooh, do I want this to be a sundial where I could put it out on my picnic table, and over the course of the next day, I could write down all of the times, and I'll show you how we can do that, and leave it there. And so if I'm out playing with my friends and I want to know, ooh, is it dinner time? I could go check my sundial and be like, oh no, it's 4 o'clock. I can go play for another couple of hours. Or do I want it to be a situation where I'm going to hide a treasure, and maybe for my little sibling, or maybe I want my parents to hide a treasure, and I could draw a map of my neighborhood, and I could say, ooh, come back at 2 o'clock and look at where the shadow points, and that's where the treasure is hidden. So there's a couple ways you can use this. I'm going to flip this over and add some glue on the inside too. All right, and this is just going to make it nice and secure. If you are planning on making a sundial that you want to leave out for a long time, one thing to think about is the paper plate is obviously not super strong forever, but what you could do is turn this also into an art project and paper mache it or sort of mosaic tile over this paper plate, which will give it a little bit more sturdiness to the weather. All right, so I have my staff of raw up and ready, and over the course of the day, you guys can decorate it. You could put sticks and twigs and all that jazz on it. You could decorate this to look really cool, but I do want to show you how to use it. All right, so the staff of raw is powered by the sun. The sun is outside, but we're going to use this awesome flashlight right here. And I'm going to flip it up so that you guys can see it. You'll notice, let's see, my glue is not totally dry yet, but we'll go like that. There we go. If I have the sun coming in and maybe the sun is rising, this is the morning, watch what happens as the sun goes through the day. It comes up for, oh, now it's lunchtime. And you see what's happening to that shadow as the day is going along? So what I could do if I wanted to is when the sun is here, I could mark it. I could say, oh, I'm going to make a little mark right here, and that's 7 a.m. for me. All right, and then I could go back and I could check it at maybe lunchtime. All right, so let me see if I can do this, holding everything all at once. So I could say, and you would want to do this like on your picnic table, somewhere is going to keep at the same spot, but I could say, okay, maybe this is breakfast, maybe this is 7 a.m., like that. And then maybe as time goes on, I could say this might be 8. Like that. All right, and so now tomorrow when it's this time, I can look at it and can say, oh, that's 7 o'clock. Maybe that's 7:30. There's 8 o'clock. And it doesn't, you'll be surprised, they won't be evenly spaced. All right, so you might be really surprised to find out that between 7 and 8 is a lot of distance, but maybe between 8 and 9 is not as much, and that's just dependent on how the sun goes in the sky. So you would put this sort of on your picnic table, and over the next day or so, you would come to your picnic table and you'd look and you'd say, oh, there's 7. If you don't have that time yet, you could mark it like we are, and you could write the time down. And you just leave it in the same spot, and it will tell you the time again and again. Now, if you wanted to say, I want to make it just like Indiana Jones and the Staff of Ra, you might draw a map. So maybe I'm going to draw a map over here. Maybe this is our house. You could even print a map if you wanted to. And I could draw sort of the street that we live on, like this. And I could draw some of the other houses. We have our best friends who live literally right down the street from us. We've got a house over here that has some horses, which is really cool. So maybe I could draw their little horses and stick figure motion. Here's my little horses. We have some other good friends that live right up here. There's some forest that comes in between us. There's like a beach. We could put the beach over here for right now. So maybe there's the beach of water. And I could decide, like, where do I want to hide my treasure? All right, and maybe I want to hide it right where we feed the horses, because that's always really special when we get to go over and feed the horses. So maybe this is where I'm going to want to hide it. What I would do, I wouldn't mark it on my map. I would leave my map totally blank, but I would wait and see until the moment that as the sun is going through the day, when it hits. See how right now it's hitting where the horses would eat? I would mark that time, maybe it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and then I would tell my friend, hey, at 2:30 in the afternoon, come to my house and you'll see where the treasure is. And at 2:30 in the afternoon, it'll come right over here and they'll be like, interesting. I wonder, is that the horses? Are they gonna go feed the horses? I should go check the horse trough. And they'll go check the horse trough and maybe they'll find a chocolate bar. Or maybe they'll find a gold bar. That would be even cooler. Who knows? But that is how we can sort of recreate some of the science that we saw in Indiana Jones, which is a ton of fun. And actually next week, one of the things we're going to do, we are going to set up an archaeological dig site for ourselves, and we will learn how to truly dig up some relics that we might find, that Indy might find, but not loot them. There's a big difference between digging things up and finding them for the use of teaching us about culture and teaching us about history and civilization versus finding something to dig up so we can go sell it and make a whole bunch of money. All right, Indiana Jones is maybe not always the best archaeologist. Let's just put it that way. He does a lot of looting, but we're going to be better than that. We're going to learn how to document our dig and dig those things up. But I thought this was a really cool, different type of science in Indiana Jones that's not archaeology related necessarily, but when you look at sundials, ancient civilizations have been building sundials for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So it's like not a new thing, and it's not surprising that a civilization would have hidden a treasure and made a map and told you, come at a certain time of the day to come discover where we've hidden it, which I think is really cool. All right, I am really excited to see what you guys are doing to make these projects uniquely yours, and I can't wait to see the art and what your plans are for them and hear where you plan on putting them. And so we're gonna go over into our Zoom classroom, and next week we also have a field trip. We're gonna go through, I think we'll be just in Zoom next Wednesday, and we will be taking some 360-degree view videos of archaeological sites, and we get to watch some people dig things up, and we can maybe move ourselves through some really cool areas. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you have friends who haven't done science with us, make sure you tell them to come join us. It's gonna be so much fun this year. I cannot wait. And you can always support us at patreon.com/RosieResearch. And so now I will say, unless there's questions.
Do we have any questions? We have hi from Kaya and hi from Hassan.
Hello, hi Kaya and hi Hassan. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, yay. Kaya, we're doing weather for you.
Weather.
Kaya's weather week is for Kaya. I'm pretty excited about it.
Send us your ideas if you have ideas.
Yes, definitely. All right, well then I am excited to go see all of our friends over in Zoom and have some lunch with you guys and see how you guys have been doing. Goodbye, YouTube, and hello, my Zoom friends.